I want to welcome everybody to Truth and Reconciliation Week and our presentation about seeds. And my name is Rebecca Saltman. I am an ambassador and have gone through the Academy in Seeds ecosystem. And I'm working with Rain, and all of my being a part of the seeds world is all for the love of Rain's delightfulness. It's all her fault. And so with that, I will turn it over to Rain so she can tell a little bit about herself and about what we're going to talk about today.
Awesome, thank you. I don't mind taking that fault right now. Usually we don't, but that I'm happy to. Okay, so let me introduce myself. My name is Rain. A little bit about my background. I am the founder of Origin of Wisdom. I created a program called Seeds Leadership. And basically the focus is on personal transformational work and personal development work using a gamified methodology and a holistic approach, an integral approach. And so that's a little bit about my personal background. I got to know about seeds in almost a year ago already, August last year. I was looking at a platform to focus on how we need a new financial system, a governance system. And I was Googling, and guess what? I found Seeds from Google. And that's how I bumped into Seeds. What intrigued me was because of the name Seeds. But my program is called Seeds Leadership, and I saw this Seeds cryptocurrency. I'm like, boy, I need to go dive in and see what this is all about. And almost a year later, I'm now very active in this ecosystem, co-creating with a lot of creators. A lot of you are here as well. I'm part of the Movement Building Circle right now, supporting the growth of the movement, and specifically to focusing on the Ambassador Academy subcircle. So that's a little bit about my background, how it's related to Seeds here. And today I'm excited to be sharing with you a little bit more about what Seed is. Okay, so we're just gonna dive in. And so what is Seeds? Seeds is a financial platform, a financial ecosystem, and also a payment platform, which we'll be talking a little bit about later. And the intention is to empower humanity and to heal our planet. SEEDS is also an acronym. It stands for, as you can see on the screen, it stands for Sowing Ecological, Equitable, and Decentralized Societies. Okay, so it is also the name of the currency. So the difference is you can see the currency's name is with a capital S, S-E-E-D-S, right? Kind of like any currency in the world. Malaysia is called ringgit, and Saudi is called rial. So for us, the currency is called Seeds as well, okay? And we like to address Seeds as a conscious cryptocurrency. So now, how does this Seeds cryptocurrency benefit you as an individual? So I'd like to share just a little bit around that first. How does it benefit me? First of all, Seeds is a payment system which is free to use. Now, there's no transaction fee. As you know, there are many payment systems around. There are also other cryptocurrency that are available out there, but all of them, there's a transaction fee, right? You've either used Bitcoin or PayPal or Stripe, whatever it is right now today, there is a cost to using the platform. But with Seeds, there isn't. In addition, with Seeds, the more you use Seeds, eventually you actually get to earn Seeds through something we call the Harvest Protocol. I'll talk more about it later in the presentation. So in the sense of, just it being a payment platform, it's already very useful because right now, if I want to send, especially I'm from Malaysia, now I'm staying in Canada. I've been staying here for 14 years. If I want to send money to Malaysia, going through the banks alone take a long time. In addition, it's high cost. With Seeds alone, I don't need to do that. Basically, my parents can have an account there. I have an account here. Immediately, I decide how many seeds, press a button, off the seeds go, they receive it immediately. And that's the beauty of this platform, right? So the next question is, how does it benefit my community? So, you belong to a community. How does it benefit a community? Well, in a community, my cat, in the community, the intention is for us to create a local circular economy with the intention so that it's more stable. So think about in a let's say where I'm staying, the community I'm in, Cornell right now, right? What we would like to do is, using this platform to be able to conduct transaction, right, locally based on agreed value. And the intention for doing that is so that it creates more stability. Because right now with our current system, as you can see, there's inflation. There's inflation. Sometimes there's deflation. And as you know too, because of the exchange value that we have in the world, one thing that I personally don't like, and I've talked about this for a long time, again, like I mentioned, I'm from Malaysia, moving to Canada, the exchange value of the currency itself, it takes 3 ringgit to exchange for 1 Canadian dollar. So basically, even though somebody who contribute an hour in Malaysia, right, for the value that they're generating, in order to get something from Canada, they actually need to generate 3 times more. And to me, that's not fair. And so it's not equitable, right? I think, for me personally, it's about what they're generating and the value they're giving. That's where, that's what's important, right? It's the value that they're creating at that time. So think about, instead of creating a barter system, you have this currency as a way to track those transactions, right? An alternative way to track those transactions. Okay, so that's how it can be beneficial to a local community. Now, how does it benefit the world? First of all, right now with the currency, our financial system, we don't get a voice to tell the government how much money you can print, where can you use the money, what projects do you want to fund. With seeds, the citizens of seeds gets a voice to decide what gets funded and how much seeds can be circulated, right? And again, I'll talk a little bit about it later, okay? So I want to share just a little bit of distinction here as well between seeds and what we are using right now. So the currency that we're using right now, currently the paper money, is called fiat currency, right? And who gets to decide how much fiat currency do we print? It's the central banks in the government. I mean, the central banks, not even the government. The central bank gets to decide how much to print. And the fiat currency today, it's backed by nothing, right? Basically, it's just based on trust that this piece of paper is worth so much value. In the past, yes, it was based on gold, but today it isn't, right? And the issue too with our current fiat currency is it's also based on our current monetary system is also based on debt. So what does that mean? It means that basically in order to create a thriving economy, we got to constantly create more debt. How is this happening? First of all, as you can see already with COVID, what's happening with COVID right now, last year alone, many governments have printed, even Canada alone, we print billions of dollars, right, out of thin air. And basically what we're doing is borrowing from the future right now with money that we do not have or values that we have not generated in order to provide this, to continue to get the economy engine going. Secondly, I'm not sure how many of you are aware as well, if the government needs money, what the government will do is right now they'll issue bonds, right? And they'll issue bonds because they need money to run the projects that they have. And typically there'll be a bond market where, different governments might buy the bonds or the central bank will buy those bonds. And where does the central bank gets the money to buy the bond? Basically, they print the money again out of thin air. And the governments who create the bonds, they need to also pay interest for borrowing those money. And where does the money come from? Once again, it comes from taxpayer through collecting taxes, right? We are the one paying for the interest to service those borrowings. So that's also the other issue. Thirdly, as well, I don't know if you're aware, with our banking system today, the commercial banking system, right now, I used to think, I was very naive. I used to think it was this way for many, many years until maybe the last 10 years ago. Then I realized this is not what was happening. I always thought that if you put $100 in the bank would have $100 to borrow out to the world. Basically, this is not what's happening. If you deposit $100 savings in the commercial bank, they have the right to multiply that by 10 times and loan out $900, which comes from nowhere. It's just because the system that they adopted. And think about this next 900, if somebody borrowed their money and deposit another 100 to another bank, Bank B, now Bank B gets to multiply that by 10 times, now created additional $900, which again came from nowhere, and then lent it out. So statistically, we know that 97% of the money that's printed today, fiat currency, only 3% are in real notes and coins, okay? And this is what creates inflation today. And that's the problem we are facing. Because of inflation, even right now, you know, I remember I was reading news, why is the stock market doing so well? We're going through COVID, everything's locked down, how is the economy thriving? Part of the reason is because we're printing a lot of money, and money is actually going to the stock market. And the properties values are still going up because of the money that we are printing. And this is also the reason how the gap between the wealthy and the poor, right, keeps growing wider and wider, and therefore more and more inequality, okay? And if we continue with this monetary system, it's going to be detrimental to humanity, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be borrowing more money to create this so-called thriving economy. More of us are going to keep working, get more stressed out, you know, get more unhealthy, again, taking more stuff out from our planet, degenerating our planet, and keep going on with this cycle that's at the end, you know, we will actually destroy ourselves in the midst of all this, okay? So that's the issue with our current fiat system, right? And I'm going to address about the current other crypto system, and then I'll talk about seeds more specifically. So there are also many other cryptocurrency out there. One of the things that I don't like, I'm not saying this is for all the other cryptocurrency, but generally there are quite a lot of them out there right now, there's a lot of speculation that's going on with the current crypto world. I'm sure most of you are aware Bitcoin just maybe 2 months ago, was it in April or May, was valued at $63,000. Today is $30,000 within a short 2 months, and lost a lot of value already. The reason is because we are still, you know, it's a great I would say a great technology, great idea that was created to want to change our current financial system. The issue is right now, the way it was designed, first of all, and secondly, it's also the mindset of people. We're still coming with our very old way of behaving, and we are speculating, right? So there are certain things that's built in seeds to avoid some of this speculation. So what are they? I'll be sharing with you shortly too. Just one quick thing before I move on to what are the benefits of seeds is, how does this also benefit Mother Earth? One of the things that we're also seeing right now, especially with Bitcoin is using a whole lot of electricity every year just to generate Bitcoin, right? The amount of electricity used just to generate the Bitcoin, to mine Bitcoins, it's about the same amount of electricity used in the entire country of Norway right now. So think about that. Just basically mining the Bitcoin itself. So for seeds, how different is seeds? Seeds is different because when seeds was designed, and this is also one of the reasons why I really liked seeds and decided to spend my time co-creating here, is because seeds was created with an intention to focus on how to regenerate and heal our planet. And how is seeds doing that? That's different from the other crypto. First of all, I mentioned earlier, right? So any individual who has a project, or any organization right now who has a project that are regenerative for the planet, you can come to the Seeds platform, create a campaign proposal, or also become a Seeds Alliance and create an alliance proposal and request for funding from Seeds. And the Seeds citizen will then decide and vote whether, you know, that project is regenerative for our planet, it's supporting humanity, And once it's voted through, you will receive seats, and therefore you can use the seats to focus on your project and work on your project. So some of the projects that are available today that's been funded, one of them is called Forest Without Frontier. Basically, what they were doing was they wanted to plant trees around the world. And so they created a campaign proposal whereby anyone who donate $20 to their project, you will receive 2,000 seeds in return. So by getting $20 fiat, they will actually be able to buy seedlings and plant trees around the world. In addition, for those who are donating the $20, they get a reward of 2,000 seeds where they can use later, right? So this is one project that's been funded. There are many projects right now that have been funded. If you want to know more about what projects that have been funded, you can go to seedslibrary.com. Basically, there are some articles around the different projects, different alliances that we have, and what are some of the current campaign or proposals that have passed and what they are working on. Okay, so where are some of the countries that currently have some projects? So we have a large group in Guatemala right now. I know Marsha, who's here. They are working. They are part of Integrity.org. So Integrity.org does a lot of work in Guatemala right now. So Guatemala, we have a local region. There's quite a lot of projects on the ground where they're starting to adopt seeds. Okay, Ecuador as well, Finca Segura, they have a couple of campaign proposals that was passed. In fact, they have 2 alliance grants that was passed as well. In September, they're actually running a program to onboard more of the locals to join seeds. So we have also a fairly good team in Zimbabwe, in Sweden, and many other countries. Okay. All right. Now, before I move on, I just want to say this too. So I did mention earlier, right? So we don't, currently in the current system, we don't get to decide where the projects are being funded. The governments get to decide. And we also notice that a lot of projects today goes into degenerating our planet, right? The fossil oil, the oil and gas industry, right? Some of the projects, the pipelines, how the pipeline projects, which are not supportive, not only to the planet, but also the community around there. And so what Seeds would like to do is to change that, to put the funds into the hands of the right people so that we can actually do good for our planet and for humanity, okay? So how do you participate? How do you get started with Seeds? Basically right now, in order to join Seeds, you just need to download an app. So later, Rebecca's going to talk about how to do so. We have an app that once you sign up in the app, you can immediately use it to conduct your transactions and start sending seeds around and use seeds already, as simple as that. Now, there's one specific thing that I want to talk about, which is I mentioned just now earlier about the harvest protocol. I decided to focus a lot of my time with Seeds because of a couple of things that they put in place, which I really appreciate. So, for example, with Bitcoin, there's a lot of speculation going in. The whales are coming in, they're playing with Bitcoin, they're buying a bunch of Bitcoins, and when its time is right, they decided to sell it, right? And then the value of Bitcoin drops. And so that was something that I personally didn't like that was going on in the crypto world. So with Seeds, what's different is a couple of mechanisms has been put in place to kind of avoid that from happening. One of the things is you will notice in order to join Seeds, you will need to be invited to join Seeds, right? So an invite link. So that's one step, and that's also to avoid bots from joining our ecosystem as well. Secondly, it's something called vouching. In order for someone to move from a visitor to a resident, there are certain criteria that you need to fulfill. But one of the main criteria is your reputation point. You need to be vouched as an individual. And that's something that I personally really like, because now we are, vouching for someone we know that we trust to bring into this ecosystem. right? So there's a vouching system. In addition, if you look at the screen on in the middle, you see the 99 contribution points. So this is again something that's been built into seats, which I really appreciate. It's about, you know, how much you, there are two things from this contribution point. One, in all, your voice, how many tokens you get to vote is based on how much you contribute in the ecosystem. So it doesn't mean that I have lots of money, I can exchange my fiat for seats because I have lots of seats, therefore I have a lot more voice as a citizen. No, it's based on how much you contribute in seats. And how does the contribution score comes about? There's an algorithm. I'm not going to go into the algorithm here because it's fairly complex. We can definitely talk more about it later if you like to. However, just remember that it's based on how much you contribute as an individual, right? So, and that's something I really like, right? So if you're contributing a lot more, if your contribution points is 99, therefore you will have 99 tokens to vote on the projects or proposals that come true. The other piece too with this contribution score is the harvest protocol that I talked about just now. The more active you are in this ecosystem, the more you contribute, your contribution score goes up. We have something called the harvest protocol. Think about this, you know, as we use, where we are, so think about our current world right now, right? But when we exchange services, that's how we use money as a way to measure our exchange of value, right? The fiat currency. It came out because of the value we've generated, right? And as an economy, right, the more transaction or the value being created, therefore the economy becomes the community becomes more wealthier, right? And that's how it happens, because that you're creating more and more value. So with the seeds ecosystem, the more you contribute, we have something called the harvest protocol, which is generated and will be only released during a stage we call go live stage, because right now we're still in a pre-stage. We haven't gone live yet. And the intent is the more you generate, you will be gifted seeds as a harvest. So the more higher contribution you have, the more harvest you will receive in this ecosystem. So it has nothing to do with how much money you have, but it's about how much you're contributing to the community and to, of course, the overall goal of what Seeds is building, right? I'm not going to go into the detail of this as well, just a quick one. You know, when you first join Seeds, you are considered a visitor. Then the goal is to evolve to be a resident, just like any country, right? You become a permanent resident and eventually is to become a citizen. Only the citizens will have the right to vote for the proposals. Residents and citizens have the right to submit proposals if you have a project that you'd like to be funded, okay? So I just want to wrap up really quickly with just two things. As you know, I started my introduction talking about my program too, called Seeds Leadership. And I'm also very present to, because this session, I decided to add these two slides. We're talking about truth and reconciliation. One of the key things is while we're building this structural system, which is the financial system, the governance system, right? And as you can see here, you know, there's a lot of issues with our current education system as well, healthcare system, right? And there's all these systems are broken, our structural system. Yet it is also very important to know that while we're working on this external structural system, it's important to look at some of our internal system, which are our belief system. I personally believe that we are the system. We are the ones that are creating the system. Therefore, it's important for us to look at where we are coming from. What are some of the belief systems that we have taken on that may not serve us in creating this new world right now? Right. So I just want to add this and present you to this as well today. And the key is, in order to create this new world, it comes for each of us being willing to take this step I believe that we are all born leaders and we were made followers over time. We're told things that we can't do, cannot do, should do, have to do, right? Ultimately, those are just things that we were told. And, of course, as kids, we believed that those were truth and we took it as our real truth, but may not be our truth. So I would like to just end this session with strongly encourage you to take time while we're working on creating working on building new external structural system. It's also important to look at our internal system, right? And it's also important to take time to heal some of the wounds that we may have carried, things that happened to us, to our past, that hurt and pain, and also, and just know that you are born a leader, right? What we want to do is to create, while creating this new paradigm, it's not to bring some of this old stuff into this new paradigm. Okay, so I just want to, because of we're talking about truth and reconciliation, I thought this would be a good thing to add to my presentation today as well. So lastly, just to wrap up, is seeds, our intentions to co-create a world where financial flow is designed to reward, support, encourage life-affirming regenerative practices. Thank you, everybody. And, we're going to open up for Q&A now. I'm going to pass it over to Rebecca.
Fabulous. Before I talk a little bit about the invite process, I know Andy is still able to be on. Do you want to ask Rain specifically about the Ambassador Academy?
Yeah, I need to go in a second, but I am curious about the next academy and how I might be able to join that.
The next academy, we are taking a summer break, so we'll only be continuing in October. However, we can send you the forms right now. Rebecca, could you put, I'll do it later. I'll put in the link, the Movement Building Join Seeds.Earth Academy link. So there's a form there, you can fill out the form. And then Catherine will reach out to you. Catherine or Aline will reach out to you.
Great, thank you so much. This is wonderful.
Awesome.
Thanks, Andy. So one of the things I want to put in here is that in order to reinforce what Rain said, one of the things that is sort of most amazing about this ecosystem is that you get invited and then you get vouched for. And one of the things that we want to do in this presentation is I'm going to put in, oh, Krill, thank you for doing that already. Krill put a link into the chat, and I will also show a QR code in a moment. If you would be so kind as to, if you would like to have more information, learn more about the Ambassador Academy, or participate in future events with Seeds and be invited, we would love for you to consider filling out the form that Krill just put into the chat, and I will show this QR code that you can easily just take a picture of, and I'm going to share screen here and have you guys see this. Rain, can you see it okay? Great. So you can just scan this QR code and it will take you immediately to the form where you put your name and email address, and we will send you out, we will send you an invitation to join Seeds. And if you already are a Seeds member, if you would be so kind is to, in the comments, just say your passport name and your, all your information so that we can reward you for being a part of our ecosystem already. I will stop share for now, but I will put it back up. And also the link that Krill put in is also a way to get there. So who has questions? Anybody have any questions? Alicia.
Thank you, Rain and Rebecca. I don't know how to say this question, but coming from doing mostly inner work and regenerative work, I found it really hard to understand the economics. I always avoided it. And now that I want to be here is something I have to do, and I want to understand it. But do you have any advice about that?
I hear you. I know myself too. It's a lot. And I think it's, I'm just going to share my own experience. I don't have a full understanding of the entire game guide. I can tell you that I don't. I've read the Constitution at least 3 times. I don't even understand a whole thing, probably maybe 25% at most at this moment. And of course, the Constitution has changed into a much easier understanding language, I would say. Yeah, so my advice is, take a step at a time. You don't need to know everything. I think from my own journey was, I came in more with perspective of what didn't work. So I was more interested in just understanding those areas of what didn't work and what was working from the seeds perspective. And then slowly kind of, taking it in the next thing and the next thing. I'm happy to even share this. Marsha and Neil, which is in the tribe, was very busy talking in their tribe about reputation points and reputation score. And I brought this up in one of our meetings. Oh my God, I didn't even know the difference between reputation point and reputation score until the 2 of them started talking about it. And there you go. So it's a constant learning. So Alicia, I would just say take bit by bit as you can. You don't need to know everything. And also, by the way, the game guide it's still changing. So it's being improved. It's as you know, Renaissance Explorer, the group, they are doing that. So just know that too. It's still changing. Rebecca.
Yeah, so what I also want to say, and Marshall, just give me one quick moment, is that we are co-creating this new world, and we don't really want it to stay still, right? Like I personally, I don't think, I mean, and it's a lot of learning and it's a lot of frustration. It's a lot, all the time, a lot. And I'm on, I don't even want to imagine how many hours of calls I am on every week. What I do want to say though, is that I wouldn't, I am so grateful to be co-creating with the amazing, amazing people in this ecosystem. And how are we able to create this new world together? So, Alicia, I totally get you, Alicia. Totally get you. And it is insane how many details I still don't get. And like, what else is possible in this moment? So for that, I'm super grateful. And also, I wanted to clarify a comment I made. If you all would be so kind as to fill out the form, and if you have a passport, put in the comments in the form, although I'm very grateful to have them here too, your passport name. And so hopefully we can reward people that are able to be here today. Myrna.
Hi, everyone. I'm in my car. Can you hear me? My question is, how does the CBDC plans, the plans for the central bank to create digital currency, the central bank digital currency, I believe is coming out at some point. I don't think anybody really knows exactly when, but how does that play into this? If I don't know that it'll be a solution for the problem of fiat currency or not, but do you know how that might play into this?
Go ahead, Rebecca.
No, do you have it? I was wondering if you do. If not, Kriel, can you help us out here?
I was going to just share that digital currency and cryptocurrency are 2 different things. Basically, digital currency is just using it's similar to fiat, just in a digital form, no more printed paper. So in that sense, it's already slightly different. Let's put it, this is my point of view. So it is important for me to share that this is just my point of view. I know governments are wanting to still, in many ways, control the financial system, right? And so this is the alternative. It's, to make it look sexier, we are creating a digital currency, but it's pretty much, to me, the same thing. Yeah. Carol, do you want to go ahead and add?
It's a great question. So broadly and most honestly, we don't know. Right. So once we let that, and then we have some distinctions that the current fiat system of central banking is mostly digital. It's mostly ones and zeros, so it's digital, but that doesn't mean it's like 97% digital. But when we're talking about cryptocurrency, what we're really talking about is something that's on a blockchain, a distributed ledger, right? Now, the beauty of that is that it opens up banking to the unbanked. That is to say, if you have a smartphone anywhere in the world, you can get access to this democratized currency, which opens a whole suite of services that otherwise are not available. And right now, the central banks try as they might, in order to deliver those services, they need governments that have stability, like your passport, your ID, ownership. There are a lot of countries where that infrastructure isn't at play yet. So it is probable that cryptocurrencies might hold this spot until the next shift, whatever that is. But largely speaking, it's going to be something social and personal that we're pushing forward. And it'll use tools like seeds to prove that people really want to do this and that we can coordinate globally in this way.
Yeah, and also to add, we are seeing some, well, Marcia, I know integrity.earth, right? I know Franz and Lisa is already working on a project in Liechtenstein with the government, with the municipal. So we are also seeing, though not all governments, their governments are more open. They know they need to start moving towards, because crypto, it's not going to go away. Right. So, and Curious talk about, the beauty of crypto is the transparency. It's in the blockchain, it's open. Yet we are also seeing governments who are open to adopt. Right now in Haifa, we're also talking to the Department of Agriculture or co-op in Peru as well, who are looking into adopting seeds. So in that sense, that's the better side of the story.
Brenna, how are you doing? Is that good?
My understanding is that the new central bank digital currencies will also be on the blockchain. I don't know, though. Of course, I do not know. I'm not an expert, but I love the conversation and I love what you guys are doing.
Thanks, honey. Marcia, I so apologize for skipping over you. That was not my intent.
And no worries. My plan was to talk about something else, but I don't want to change the subject because it's so interesting. And Kirill, I think you have a big understanding of the whole cryptocurrency and blockchain and all the new things that are coming up. And we had a talk with a friend, so we're also talking about, or we're trying to help people to understand who are new to the system. So we also tried to tell a friend about seeds, and then he mentioned, oh yeah, I've got this app on my phone so I think in Europe it's Pi, but I think there are various ones out there that you have on your phone that you actually just like you have to log in once a day, and then you get rewarded for that, or also games that are out. But I mean, if you can have a few words on that, Kirill, or anybody else who feels that this is his topic or her topic, because I think it's slightly different to seeds. And yeah, so pass it on. Who else?
Does anybody else have anything to add here? Krill, anything else to put in here?
Yeah, this is sometimes put under the umbrella of Web 3.0. So the first internet was posting things, right? You could play chess on it, but it was mostly a library. Web 2.0, that was all your social media, and the interactive, like the horizontal, you can post and you can share, and it made it very cool things. Web 3.0 is going to be ownership. That is to say that we can transfer the ownership of a digital or a worldly asset through this new functionality on the internet. And so this opens great doors. You have the work of Hernando de Soto, who did very careful studies on the first prototypes. Just being able to document who owns what is massively socially stabilizing. It's very, very powerful. So this is the element. And then the other elements you're looking at is you're going to see gaming woven into education. You're going to see a new type of advertising. It's not advertising, it's like behavioral, lets us see that things are working. But it's very experimental. It's in the nascence of it. And I think we're only halfway there. There's some very key features that need to be built, but the basic infrastructure and the basic desire for it are there. And it's just kind of a race to say, okay, well, the central banks are going to take a stab at it. And then the community of communities is going to take a stab at it. And who can, maybe even the differential between the two, that's what will shape the system that emerges.
Thank you so much for that. Any other questions before we take anything new? Andre?
Yeah,
Please.
make a question. Well, I feel that there are many people involved in seeds currently. They are participating in the co-creation, and this is very nice. I see plenty of very well-intended and very capable people involved in the co-creation of seeds. But I feel that in order for seeds to become a working platform, we need actual products and services being transacted through seeds. And I haven't seen much transactions, real transactions, services and products being transacted with seeds. Do you have any idea of how far or how close are we of getting real communities actually transacting through seeds? Or am I missing something?
Rain or Marcia, do you want to jump in here, Rain, first?
Marcia, so Andre, yes, I hear you, and there are some. I know Guatemala has already have some being used. I know Zimbabwe not so much. Ecuador, they're starting. So we are seeing some sort of adoption. Like my organization, we do collect in seeds as well as a payment form. And one of the focus right now in Movement Building Circle is to actually now focus on more on the debt, because we have done a little bit on the, bringing more people on the wider, like horizontal focus. Now we want to go deep. So this is where, again, Integrity.Earth with Franz and Lisa, they are under the Movement Building Circle, they're under the whole system integration subcircle and supporting to focus on more, increasing the logo adoption right now. So absolutely part of the sensing is there. We don't have enough, yet we are also now focusing a whole lot more energy into that, creating that consciously and harvesting the knowledge from there. Marcia?
Absolutely, Rain. I'm on the same page there. And as you mentioned, that Integrity is already working on it, especially in Guatemala. They have already local bioregions that are working with seeds and exchanging, which is awesome. And also here in Liechtenstein, our coworker agreed with his internet company that he can pay his invoice with seeds. And I also know that some universities take seeds for courses, and also there's an onboarding right now for education for people in Guatemala. So they also get their student loans or their student payments covered with seeds. So the university, it's on our homepage. I'm not sure it's UCIA or something. So in Guatemala, definitely. And so that's already ongoing, and it's basically just for the people who are there local. I think for me right now, being a new member of SEED, and also being a new citizen, and now just digging into the whole thing, like Alicia said, it's a lot to understand, and also Rebecca mentioned that. So yeah, I think it's just, you get to know seeds, you get to go through the academy, and then when you are ready to actually pass it on to people, you start to onboard people, and privates as well as organizations, as well as companies. I mean, we're free to do whatever we want. It's open. But for me, from my personal view, I first want to really understand it, really get the vibe of it and how we want to talk with each other and how we want to deal with issues or with topics, and also understand what's going on right now, and then I can pass it on.
Myrna, did you have another question?
What did you say, Rebecca?
I was asking Myrna if she had another question,
Mhm.
because I think she had raised her hand earlier.
I'll just mention, I can't believe that he mentioned Fernando de Soto. I'm studying his work as well. So would love to just circle back on all this later, Rebecca. Thank you.
Perfect, thanks. I also wanted to welcome the ladies that have just joined. I apologize, there might have been some with all of the different time zones. We are in the questions portion of this program, and we will certainly be sending out the recordings. And especially if you want any more information about seeds, I'm happy to answer questions. But right now, if you want to just listen in, and we're happy to take some basic questions if you're wanting to ask them now. Does anybody else have any questions? Awfully quiet. Well, I'm going to put the link in here in the chat again, and I'm happy to show the QR code again if anybody would like to do this, but I would love and encourage anybody that's on the call to fill out the form. We would love to invite you to the economy, the seeds ecosystem. And if you already are a member and have a passport, we'd love for you to put your passport name in the comments so that we can reward you for being a part of this wonderful talk. Here's the link, and then I will again screen share while anybody is coming up with any other questions. Is great.
Sorry, Rebecca, the screen sharing, like the QR code for what was that, or what, like?
This will take you to the same page as the link does. If using a camera is easier and using this QR code. It was done by one of our amazing colleagues who we adore, Apostle, and was able to create this delightful QR code that we're, as Rain had mentioned, we're using this online event as an opportunity to start to share systems to be able to invite people into this new world with us. So we're trying all different things. And so we would love your help and support in that. So I'm going to stop the share again. Other questions?
If there are no questions, I just want to show my absolute gratitude for what you are doing, especially also now, you know, I had some sessions with Rain, and it's so amazing and so inspiring and just mind changing. And all that energy that is going on in also the Discord channels, like the platforms that we are, you know, writing back and forth. I know sometimes it gets a little messy because there are just a lot of people, and it's, I mean, but that's also the beauty of it. You are actually able to talk to anybody you want, send a private message or give an opinion, you know, share your thoughts, and it's always welcome. And you can attend every meeting. It's just amazing, and I love it. Yeah. So thank you.
Super grateful for the comment. And for those of you who are not in the ecosystem yet, Discord can be very overwhelming as well. Although the most incredible, like supportive and available for everybody to be able to share what they're looking for, ask questions without judgment, and participate in this new world with us.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. And thank you. What I would like to say in return is thank you for being here, you know, and co-creating as well, because this is a big experiment. It takes a lot of us and different wisdom and insights from each one of us to keep, keep creating this together. It's going to be a journey for sure. Andre.
Thank you so much, Rain and Rebecca.
Yeah, Andre, did you have something else?
May I ask another question?
Of course.
Yeah, listening to Marsha, it resonated me with something that I felt, and also connected with something that Rain said, that the beliefs that we have creates the system. So if we want a different system, we need to change our beliefs, our principles and values. And this is something that that I found really nice in the seeds ecosystem, is that the people that are joining the movement seems to have a nice set of beliefs, seems to have the right mindset. And this is really good because the ecosystem evolves in a good way. However, the world is there and people with the old mindset is there. And at some moment we have to join, and people with the old mindset will join the ecosystem. So how do you feel this moment when people with the old mindset thinking about, for instance, about making money, speculating with seeds, or like making quick gains on seeds? How do you see this moment of people with this speculative mindset joining the ecosystem? Have you already faced something like that? Have you met people who have this mindset, wow, I will join now? And is it
Make lots of money.
appreciating? The currency is appreciating. I will sell, I will buy. How have you handled that?
Rain, I'll let you start.
Okay, yes, we have. And I think this is also why in the academy we focus on personal development as one of the core things. You know, because I know there are some other cryptos who are also planning to do similar things like seeds, focusing on different things. Some of them focus on UBI and stuff like that. Yet we noticed, because of incidences that we had, that this was built into the academy. So that's kind of one layer. We feel like our way to kind of support them in their shift, right? Because again, I know nobody wants to do that. It's just how they grew up in the beliefs, and therefore, you know, they operate that way. So that's the one way. Two, we did have to ask people to leave the ecosystem. Actually, recently we did that. Because we have given the person several opportunities and then spoke to the person, clarify, and created sessions to mediate and heal. And sometimes, again, it's whether the person's ready or not, and the person is not ready, and it's not about judging them. It's just, okay, you know, maybe next time or in the future. Just being mindful too that, you know, the analogy I'm using, and this, I'm not speaking for the entire ecosystem, you know, otherwise we have seen how the one individual influenced the next individual and influence the next individual with what happened, kind of like a cancer cell. So at some point we needed to just say, you know, thank you, and ask them to leave. Yeah, so that's one. That's how we've approached it, but we did provide many different opportunities and ways to continue to support the individual as well. Marsha, you were going to say something, I think.
Just always my experience that I'm sharing here. I don't know which situation you're in, Andre, and I hear you, Rain, what you're saying, that there are some people, or, you know, yes, they're always like where people are, there are always traction or like discussions, but they are allowed to be like that. But yeah, if somebody is not willing to change his mindset, because yes, I also had to, and I also had to think cooperative and not like, for me, like I told when in my starting academies, when we did like sessions, that my mindset is very competitive. So as soon as you tell me there's a game and this is rules, I'll follow and I try to win. And I had to really reassess that, and I'm still learning, I'm still doing it, but gosh, my mind has changed so much. And we also took on board another guy in our team that was really like, what are you guys doing here? This is just abstract. And finally, he's on the board and he's so gung-ho for it, because he says there's so many platforms and so many other like chats, Facebook, you name it, where people are mean with each other. I mean, they actually tell, you know, them really bad stuff, and that doesn't happen. And before it happens, then yeah, you have to deal with it and find a solution. But I haven't seen that yet, and I know that will not happen. So, you know, as in other places where you can find that, and that really attracted him. And he already looked at all the videos, and he already, you know, he's fully on the line of that one thing that he mentioned was, it's amazing how people treat each other in the Seeds community. That's just so positive. And he's not been in any academy nor in, you know, nothing. He has the passport and he has already evolved to resident. So, but yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for bringing it up. Sorry, go ahead, Andre.
I have only met wonderful people in the Seeds ecosystem, but I imagine that in order to fulfill the vision, the Seeds ecosystem will have to grow a lot. So I just imagine that, well, there will be a sort of clash some moment. I just wonder how we will handle that. Thank you for your comments all.
Growing pains.
Yes. Thanks, Alicia. I would love to see what you're painting, by the way. Is there any other questions? This has been really wonderful. And again, we've got, thank you ladies for all joining that are not on camera and were unable to join at the beginning. But again, we'll be able to send this out. And if you have any questions, we'd be happy to take those in the future. Rain, anything else?
I was going to say, Marcia, you raised your hand just now. So, okay. Yeah, and Andre, too, I think this is also something that we see. People come in and if they don't fit, they leave by themselves. I actually see that in the ecosystem as well. And just again, maybe it's not their time. In regards to, that's why the personal development round with the ambassador organizing, which is the next growth of stage for the Ambassador Academy, where we're focusing more on bioregional, creating bioregional circles now, right? We have just recently done a pilot with my program, Seeds Leadership, where we actually go deeper to do the healing and contextualize further and provide some tools about communication, responsibilities, and universal principles like forgiveness and all that. So we're also starting to weave a little bit more of this into the Academy as the next step. Yeah, as we know, you know, the ecosystem is going to grow.
Marcia, do you want to jump in here?
Just a quick question. Is there any onboarding for that leadership, or is that already ongoing, or you have any info on that?
Yes. So we just did a kickoff about the ambassador organizing last Friday. So this is, so there'll be, our goal is every 2 weeks, we're going to start having meetings now where there can be cross-pollination between different regions. So through those sessions, we'll start letting you know. We just did the first pilot where Franz and Lisa actually attended the pilot session, right? But there was about 12 of them who attended the pilot session. So we know from their feedback, this is something we will want to continue in the Academy. So come look for the ambassador organizing meeting event that's coming up, join those calls, okay?
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. If there's any other questions, very, very grateful for your time and attention. Thank you, Rain, for your amazing leadership, and gratitude for that. And thank you for for making me join this crazy world. With that, I will say bon farewell. And if there's anything else that you need, we will be sending out the recording to everybody that registered. And again, I ask if you would be able to fill out the form. I'll put it one more time here in the chat. That way we can be in touch. Thanks so much. Give me one more second. For some reason, it did not copy in here, but yes. So thank you so much. Any other questions before we go? I will find I promise I will find the link.
I would just want to acknowledge you all too. Thank you for being here. This is and thank you for your patience too. I'm actually a little bit under the weather today, so and this is a second time we're presenting the deck, so please do give us a feedback. We're constantly evolving the deck. There are different decks that we've created. So one is this is more for just in general to simplify. Again, we're working to simplify. Seeds is not easy to simplify, let's put it this way. And we're working our best to simplify as much as we can every time. So your feedback is appreciated. In addition, thank you, Kirill and Rebecca, for really supporting me. I've been really busy, and they took this on and supported me in creating everything. So Rebecca, thank you for organizing the whole thing. And I just had to jump in and do the presentation only. So I appreciate both of you for this partnership and co-creation, and each one of you for being here. I just want to extend my gratitude to you as well.
Thank you so much, everybody, and have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, morning, whatever, wherever you are. So thank you. Take care, everybody. Take care.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.